standard equation of an ellipse, there are two types of ellipse. An ellipse can be horizontal, an ellipse can be vertical. Starting with the horizontal ellipse, so this is a horizontal ellipse. The point in the center is called the center. The coordinate of the center is h comma k, and then these two blue points is called foci, and then these 2 points, the one in pink, is called vertices. So do you see that there are two axes? There is a longer one and there is a shorter one. The longer one is called major axis. So this ellipse, the major axis is horizontal, and then the minor axis is vertical, and then we have two vertices, one on each end of the major axis. And then the vertical axis, we don't call these 2 points the vertices. And then how do we measure the major axis? So easy. So from this point to this point, we call this 2a. So that means a is the length from a vertex to a center, and then this is called length A, and then for this, from this center to this vertex, we call this length A. So we have 2 of this, so that's why we have 2a. And then the minor axis from this point to the center is B, and then from the center to this point is B. So the length of the minor axis is 2b. And then the standard equation of this horizontal ellipse, the textbook doesn't say that this is a horizontal ellipse because the major axis is horizontal. So this is the major axis, the longer axis is horizontal. So that's why I would just call this a horizontal ellipse. And then the standard equation of this ellipse is x minus h squared divided by a squared plus y minus k squared divided by b squared. This is equals to 1. The right hand side is equals to 1. The length of the major axis is 2a. The length of the minor axis is 2b. And then for a and b, a must be greater than b, and then both a and b must be greater than 0. The blue points, the foci, are c units from the center, and then the relationship between a, b, and c is that c squared equals to a squared minus b squared. So this is the center, and then let's say c is equals to 2. So let's say this is at 0, 0, the vertex. If c is equals to 2, then this is 2 comma 0, then this is negative 2 comma 0. The foci are c units away from the center. So how about a vertical ellipse, the one in orange? So this is a vertical ellipse because the major axis is vertical. So this longer axis is vertical. We have 2 vertices. This green point and this green point, they are the vertices. They are on the major axis, and then the foci are also on the major axis, and then this orange point is the center. H comma k, the length of the major axis is 2a. So from this green point to the center is a, and then from the center to this green point is a. So in total we have 2a, and then the minor axis is right here, the one that is horizontal. The length of the minor axis is 2b. And then from this point to the center, we have a b. From the center to this point, we have a b. So together, we have a 2b. And then the standard equation of this vertical ellipse is x minus h. The difference between the orange one and the yellow one is they swap a and b. So x goes first, y goes second. They both have square. The difference between the yellow and the orange is the orange has b square and then a square, b square first and then a square second, and then this is always equals to 1. So let's do some exercise. So in each exercise, what I am going to do is I am going to give you some given characteristics, and I would like you to draw the standard equation of an ellipse. So the first one, I gave you 2 vertices and the length of the major axis. So what I always do when I was a student is I will just sketch the ellipse first. So imagine that you don't really need a graphing paper. So imagine that you have a piece of graphing paper with you. So the 3, 1 and the 3, 11 is in a positions like this. So y is equals to 1, y is equals to 11 is above y equals to 1. So this one, I don't think it is hard to figure it out. Y equals to 1, y equals to 11, so 1 below, 1 above, and then we have a center right over here, and then you sketch your ellipse. How do I know that the ellipse is vertical? Because they mentioned the vertices. The vertices must lie along the major axis. So if the vertices is in this position, then this must be the major axis. As a result, the ellipse must be vertical, and then this is equals to 1 and 1 because the minor axis is equals to 2, so the length is equals to 2. That means each piece is equals to 1. Okay, what else can we say? We can find A, right? We can find the length of the major axis. How do we do that? So the length of the major axis from 1 to 11, how many units are there? From 1 to 11, there are how many units? There are 10 units, right? So there are 10 units. Then 11 minus 1 divided by 2, that is equals to 5. What does that mean? That means A is equals to 5, and then what is the length of the major axis? So 2A is equals to 10, right? So A is equals to 5. All right. So when A is equals to 5, what else can we find? We can also find that for 1 and 1, we know that B is equals to 2. So let's match the color. So we know that B is equals to 2. So now we know A and B. Can we figure out the center? The center is the midpoint of the two vertices. All right. So here is the center, which is the same thing as the midpoint. How do we find that? So we are taking the average of the 3, which is 3 plus 3 divided by 2, and then 11 plus 1 divided by 2. Then the center is equals to 3 comma 6, right? So 3 comma 6. And then this is my h comma k. Now we have enough information to draw the standard equation. We have h, we have k, we have a and b. So what we are going to do first is we are going to recall the equation for a horizontal ellipse, that is x minus h squared, and then this one is y minus k squared, and that is equals to 1. This one has no change. For a vertical ellipse, we let b squared goes first, and then a squared goes second. As a result, we have a x minus 6 squared divided by b. B is equals to 2 squared, and then y minus k. K is 6. That one is 3. And then K is equals to 6 square, and then divided by A square. So A is equals to 5. Then this is a 5 square. And that is equals to 1. And then you box this. The length of the major axis is equals to 10, right? So A is equals to 5 then. Alright, so this problem is done. Moving on to the green one. The green one, I gave you 2 foci, and then a major axis is equals to 6. So you have 2 foci, which is one right here, and then one right here, and then this is the center. So this is the center, h comma k. We have 2 foci. The major axis is equals to 6. And then what is A then? So the entire length, so this is equals to 6. And then half of 6 is equals to 3. So A is equals to 6 divided by 2. A is equals to 3. And then what about the center? The center, we have this one, we have 0, 0. We have a 4, 0. Then what is the center? The center is the foci are 4 units away from the center, right? Actually, you know what? It is not. The center is the midpoint. Let me say this again. The center is the midpoint of the 2 foci. So center is the midpoint of the 2 foci. So h comma k is the midpoint. So we are taking 0 plus 4 divided by 2. And then 0 plus 0 divided by 2. So we have 4. We have 2 comma 0. So 2 comma 0. So that means the foci, they are 2 units away from the center. So the foci are 2 units away from center. which means C is equals to 2. 2 units away from the center. And then what is the relationship between A, B, and C? The relationship between A, B, and C is right over here. C squared equals to A squared minus B squared. So you can do that in a different color. So C squared equals to A squared minus B squared. You know A and then you know C. And then we have as 2 squared equals to 3 squared minus B squared. And then B squared is equals to 9 minus 4 equals to 5, and then B is equals to square root of 5, and then 2B, which is 2 root 5, is the length of the minor axis, but you don't need to specify that. And then after all, we have to follow the formula. So what is the formula? The formula is A goes first, right? So the formula is x minus x squared divided by A squared, and then plus y minus k squared divided by B squared equals to 1. I always start with the formula, and then I will do the plug-in and then box my final answer. And then you have your x minus h. So what is h? H is equals to 2. And then A is equals to 3. And then this is a 3 square. I leave that as a square. You can write that as a 9, but I prefer to leave everything as A square. And then y minus 0, stay the 0, don't just say y square. So y minus 0 square, and then root 5 square equals to 1, and then this is your final answer. Moving on to the last problem. The last problem, we have two vertices, phi 0 and phi 12. As always, my recommendation is you sketch the graph. Either use graphing paper or you don't. I don't really need to use graphing paper because I know that phi comma 0 is below phi comma 12. Y equals to 12 and y equals to 0. And then the endpoint on of the minor axis, 1 comma 6 is on the left hand side of 9 comma 6. Y equals to x equals to 1 is on the left hand side of x equals to 9. Okay. You have to know this. So we have the endpoint of the minor axis, and then we have the two vertices. What else can we figure out? We can figure out the center. The center is the midpoint of the two vertices. Okay, match the color first. So the center is the midpoint, which is equals to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5, 12 divided by 2 is 6. There you go. So here is your center. And then what else do we know? 5 comma 6, and then we can just draw a 5 comma 6 right over here. So 5 comma 6. And then what is A? What is B? So A is the length of the major axis. So A is equals to 12 minus 0. And then that is the entire length, and then divided by 2, which is equals to 6. And then I know this is right because when y is equals to 6, 6 units up is 12, 6 units down is 0. And then what else? B. B is what? Is 9 minus 1. 9 minus 1 divided by 2. 9 minus 1 divided by 2. That is equals to 4. I know this is correct because standing at the center, if you go 4 units to the right, you get to 9. If you go 4 units to the left, you get to x equals to 1. So now I got A and B, H and K. This is a vertical ellipse. I can recall the formula, which is x minus h squared divided by A squared plus y minus k squared divided by b squared equals to 1. I got all the numbers I need. Then this is x minus 5 squared divided by 6 squared, and then plus y minus k squared. K is 6 squared divided by 4 squared. That is equals to 1. And then this is my standard equation. Alright, so that is the end of this video. If you like the way I introduce and explain standard equation of an ellipse, if you think I picked a good problem for discussion, give this video a thumbs up. If this is something that you want to see in the future, subscribe to my channel. As always, truly appreciate your support. I will meet you all in the next lesson. Signing out.